Hello everyone, my name is Vishwa Wijenayaka and today I'm going to talk about can you upload your mind and live forever under the theme technology for the Aeipathy series. This will be the content I am going to go through today, starting from the speed of technological advancement, second topic, what is the mind, the third topic, the brain, and finally the copy, its uses and dangers. Moving on to my first topic, the speed of technological advancement. In the past few decades, the technology as a whole has been growing at an exponential rate. Let's take the central processing unit as an example. Since its creation, the CPU has been growing in power and the number of transistors exponentially. As you can see in the graph here, it shows the number of transistors on an integrated circuit chip since 1971 to 2060. As you can see, the curve goes up and it doesn't seem to stop. We are living in a world which has self-driving cars and robots that can do parkour. Boston Dynamics, if you don't know, I highly recommend checking them out. They are so fascinating and scary at the same time. We are at a critical point where computers actually can copy and run a simulation of our mind. Which brings me to my next topic, what is the mind? It's thought to be the collective abilities of your consciousness and intelligence, the thing that lets you imagine, recognize, and dream. The mind uploading is the hypothetical concept of making a copy of this inner world and transferring it into a computer to run a simulation of your consciousness. To attempt this process, the scientists who are working on this has come up with three assumptions. First one, physicalism. It means the mind is in your brain's structure, arrangement, and biochemistry. The idea that everything about the mind can be found in the brain. This keeps our conversation in the domain of natural law. The second one is scannability. This means in some point in the future, we will acquire enough knowledge and technology to scan a human brain to its last components. The third one is computability, which means the mind we scan can host using computer software. These assumptions and concepts all are based around one complex organism in our body, which brings me to my third topic, the brain. The brain. The brain is the most complex organism in our body. 100 billion neurons are communicating via 1 million billion connections that are sending signals up to 1000 times each second, which is 1 quadrillion events every second of your waking life. This is not mentioning all the millions of microorganisms, proteins, and hormones which are essential for brain function. To simulate this, we need a model, some sort of scan that can accurately show all the components of the brain. Unfortunately, the scanning technology we have today are not nearly enough for this task. But there is another way. In 2019, scientists successfully mapped a cubic millimeter of mouse brain, roughly the size of big grain of sand. It contained 100 neurons with a billion synapses and 4 kilometers of nerve fibers. This grain of brain was cut into 25,000 slices, and 5 electron microscopes ran continuously for 5 months, collecting more than 100 million images. It took 3 months to assemble the images into a 3D model. The completed dataset fills up 2 million gigabytes of cloud storage. As you can imagine, to do this on a human brain, we need to redo all this process over millions of times. and the end results will be so massive that all the data storage in the world will not be enough. This all might seem impossible right now due to the lack of technology and knowledge, but let's imagine let's imagine that we did successfully scan a human mind and upload it. Which brings me to my final topic, the copy. A successful mind upload means functional immortality. As long as the copy of your mind exists, you cannot die. And if the copy of your brain is somehow damaged in any way, it will result in horrible consequences such as endless psychotic breakdowns or eternal pain. And the question if the uploaded mind is actually you and not a new person opens a whole other can of worms. So, for the time being, let's assume everything went well and the uploaded mind at least feels like you. If you do get to live in a digital world, will it change how you look at life? If you are able to change anything in your life with just a touch of a button, will, let's say, falling in love or feel happiness be pointless? Or will you be able to experience new and exciting things in life? You could go exploring the space or walk on the surface of the sun. You could get rid of painful memory from your brain. You could skip some boring months just by going to hibernate mode. There are lots of incredible new things you can do if you are immortal. Although it's unlikely that every digital mind will work for the benefit of humanity, since our current organic versions don't do that either. Some will seek power and influence and will have a literal eternity of trying to create empires. Others will begin hoarding as many resources for themselves as possible as they compete with other minds trying to do the same. The longer they live, the less sympathy they may feel for the simple organic beings. Or imagine immortal cult leaders who propagate lies and invent religious fine-tuning and perfecting their dogma over hundreds of years. Or perhaps none of that. Maybe our minds are not made for immortality, and digital mind will be rigid and unproductive, retiring after a very long time, having experienced it all. It's hard to predict what a digital mind would do with literal hundreds and thousands of years of free time. Death is what gives life meaning. I hope you learned something new or got curious about the future we are headed. Or if you feel horrible or scared about the future, just try to live your life to the fullest and stay curious. Thank you all for listening, and goodbye.